I would like to take everybody to Samuel chapter 8, 1 Samuel chapter 8, and I want to start reading from Samuel 8, chapter 8, verse 3. 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 3, and it says, "And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes, and perverted judgment. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together, and came to Samuel in Ramah, unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations." In verse 6, "But the thing displeased Samuel when they said this, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord." 7, "And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them, according to all the works which they have done since the day I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me, and served other gods, so do they also unto thee. Now therefore hearken unto their voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of king that shall reign over them." And then if you go down to verse 18, after Samuel pretty much told them what manner of king they will have, if you move now to 1 Samuel 8:18, it says, "And ye shall cry out in that day because of your king, which ye shall have chosen you, and the Lord will not hear you in that day. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, Nay, but we will have a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations." Verse 20, "And that our king may judge us, and go out before us, and fight our battles." You see, so this was what it was. They wanted something that they could see with their physical eyes. See, they wanted a hope that is seen. You see, they wanted a king that was tangible, just like the wisdom of the world. They want something that you can touch, taste, all the fleshly senses. And the motive of this is because you want to be like the nations of the world, you see. But you see, Jesus, on the contrary, was different. You see, he said, if you go to John chapter 18, verse 35 and 36, and 37, Pilate answered, this is verse 35, 18:35, "Am I a Jew? Thine own nation and chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence." Verse 37, "Pilate therefore said unto him, Art thou a king then? Jesus answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice." You see? So this clearly says that Jesus, was a king, and that's why he was born in the world. But he was not a king like the nations of the world demand a king. You see? He was a king of a spiritual kingdom, you see, whose builder and maker is God. And that is where we are called into entering this kingdom as brothers and sisters, and a bride and sons and daughters of God, you see, and a bride of Jesus Christ. See, all these words, my friends, you see, this just it demarcates the differences between the carnal thinking and spiritual thinking. Spiritual thinking is from above. Carnal thinking is of this world. So when somebody is preaching to you or talking to you, and they're giving you hope in this world, and they're telling you to defend yourself and to have physical kings and physical kingdoms, in quotations, then they are preaching to you a way that is of this world. Because as you can see, that the demand that was made in the time of Samuel the prophet was a rebellion from God. You see, it was a rebellion from God in those days. You see, so now we are supposed to receive another king. This king, his name is Jesus Christ. So you see, my friends, we are not supposed to hope in this world. You see, we are never to trust in the wisdom of this world, or the ways of the world, or the strength of the world. And if you would go to Romans 8 verse 24 and 25, this is Paul now speaking, when he said, "For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for? But if we hope for that which we see not, then do we with patience wait for it." See, so Paul here is talking about another hope, a hope that is not in this world, that is not of this world, a kingdom that is not of this world. You see, so if we go to the same book of Romans in chapter 5, verse 2, 3, 4, and 5, you see, it says, "By whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand, and rejoice in hope of the glory of God. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope, and hope maketh not ashamed, but because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, which is given unto us." So again, you see, this tells you how hope is born. Hope is born from suffering. You see, we have hope in the world because Jesus suffered on the cross, and suffered his life. You see, that we may have this hope in the kingdom that is not made of man. You see, so we are not supposed to hope in the things of the world, neither are we to hope in the devices of the world. You see, as many people are teaching today, you know, and talking about today, that we're supposed to hope in all these other internet, television, these marketing strategies and all this other stuff. If you use them, you should count them as foolishness. You see, that's when you can handle them, because then you become not of them. You see, yeah. In another place, in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18, Paul said, "While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." So again here Paul is confirming that, you know, our hope should not be in the things which we see in this world. You see. So you see, my friends, let us look for the hope which we really need to look for. You see, and if you go to Hebrews 11, verse 10, it says, "For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God." You see, and then if you go to verse 14 of the same chapter, I would recommend you read the whole chapter, chapter 11 of Hebrews. It says, "For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country." Verse 15, "And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had the opportunity to have returned." But in verse 16 it says, "But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. See, this is New Jerusalem. And you see, my friends, this is where our hope is. This is the kingdom that Jesus talked about when he said, my kingdom is not of this world. But unfortunately, most people, their hopes are in the kingdoms and nations of this world. So my fervent advice to you is to die to this hope, and it's very painful for the flesh when this happens.